one thing that happened was we entered into Taurus season, which is a new sign in the zodiac, right? And even if you're not really very into all of that, I think it's kind of just an interesting invitation to contemplate the different qualities of different times of the year, which correlate to seasons, right? And one of the things that's sort of typical or talked about in Taurus season is that it's a time of really sensing like all that's changing around you and the aliveness of the earth, and getting really grounded into earthy sensations and all the change that's happening in spring, right? Like spring is finally in full swing. And so it's a time of like sensory awareness and slowing down to be able to actually sense that, right? And in my own yoga practice, and I try when I teach to invite people to really feel that in their bodies as their own kind of local piece of earth, right? Our daily lives often ask us to move so fast and so intellectually that we really sometimes miss our sensory experience until it's really loud, like it's like pain or like something extreme, and then you finally hear it, right? So the invitation instead in this season is to take enough space, enough time that you can actually start to reconnect and feel into your own embodiment and feel your connection with the earth itself, right? So this was sort of also making me think about just our relationship to the asana practice in general, asana meaning posture. And that's what we do when we come here to practice yoga, right? And in modern times, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but the yoga practice has become physical in a way that's very much about like wellness and self-care and all of that. And that's definitely an element of what yoga was meant to be historically, or kind of how it came about. But Raja Yoga, which is the path that includes asana, a lot of paths of yoga don't even have posture practice, like it's not even a part of the path, right? The place that Raja Yoga starts in is not asana. You don't start with posture practice. You actually start with your relationship to others in the world and your inner relationship to yourself before you even start exploring asana, breath, meditation, and ultimately like the pursuit of truth, yeah? So that's not to say that what we do here and now is bad or wrong at all, as much as to say that the asana practice is a doorway into so much else, so many symbols, so many questions, so many lines of inquiry. And so I just wanted to kind of offer up what these yamas and niyamas are, which are the relationship to others in the world and the relationship to self, because it gives you a sense that there was a grounding to this path that had a broader, perhaps, perspective or intent on what it means to be alive in the world than just moving your body. So the relationship to others included ahimsa, which is non-violence or non-harming, satya, which is the pursuit of truth and non-lying, asteya, which is non-stealing, brahmacharya, which means to remember your oneness with all things, especially in the lens of how you direct your sexual energy. So to do that in a responsible way that brings you closer to others and not farther. And then 5, aparigraha, which is non-hoarding. And then the 5 niyamas are saucha, cleanliness of speech, mind, space, santosha, which is contentment, tapas, which is discipline, heat, fire, regularity, svadhyaya, which is self-study, meaning you do studies of your actual self and studies of everything else with yourself. And then the 5th one is ishvara pranidhan, which is surrender to something bigger than you, a reminder that it's not all about you and it's not all in your control, remembering that there's a larger context to all of what we experience, right? And for the sake of lists, there's 5 on each side, right? And maybe it's not exhaustive and there are more things that we can even think about in our relationship to ourselves and our relationship to others, and how we can make that more balanced, more just, more grounded in the reality of things. So I started with Taurus season just to say that on these paths, on these pursuits, it helps to slow down and feel what you feel and remember where you are.